Afternoon. A number of videos ago, it would have been in the spring, I came up to where my apple trees are and was a little bit depressed because the frost had taken a load of apples. But what do I know? As it's turned out, there's quite a crop here. Not on every tree, but there's a lot of apples about. Also, I haven't caught you up with my trip to Taiwan, so I thought I'd try and do that while I'm picking up the apples, but we'll see how that goes. Well, you might remember one of my research interests at work is the way in which big corporations are considering their response to climate change and whether they are or not, and the way that legislation is forcing that, and the way in which, as they seek to respond to climate change, companies might need to think about research and technology, particularly in food chains. So I was invited to speak on that topic. So when we got there, I went with a colleague who was talking about soil carbon. When we got there, it was a day or two before the conference. So first thing we did was went up to one of the national parks and saw some water buffalo. We're out of the city early on the morning of Sunday, and we're up in a national park having a walk around, and water buffalo farming mad. It was then quite a long trip from sort of the middle of the island down to the south where the conference was, and that's what we did next. And I think I'll try to show you some of the conference venue where it was we were speaking. It was very plush. Oh yeah, that's right, the conference was funded by the Taiwanese Ministry of Agriculture, so that was the organisation that invited us over, because in Taiwan they've just recently introduced corporate legislation demanding better reporting of environmental performance of large companies, and that was the background to them wanting me to speak, because they were wondering how that corporate reporting legislation might affect the behaviour of those companies, and how it might affect their demands for soil carbon research. So it was quite a timely thing and very nice to be invited. Well everyone, some of you said it's a holiday. It's a bit different to my usual work, it's true, but here we are in the conference lobby. First break from the morning's lectures. My lecture is tomorrow, so we're just seeing how the competition are doing. Keep tuned in.
From persistent
Here is the conference centre. So this is where we'll be speaking. Quite a venue. So that little stage down there will be home to Dr. Phil tomorrow. Well, the conference went well. There's about 250, 300 delegates over the 2 days. So quite a big gig. Well, certainly my biggest for a little while. Certainly the biggest since I've left the college and started working at North Week. So it's nice to keep the hand in. Anyway, the conference went on for 2 days, got out of there alive. We were really well looked after by the Taiwanese. But typhoons then hit. And it was very interesting because in the past the Taiwanese would expect 1 or 2 or 3 typhoons every year. But they haven't had a typhoon for 7 years. Well, when we were there we had 3. So that stopped all the flights and planes and everything, so we got stuck. Good morning. Yeah, you find me on an unscheduled extension to our work trip to Taiwan because typhoons have hit Southeast Asia, which means that airports are closed, Hong Kong is shut for business, so that's really disrupting travel. Take a look at this. So Hong Kong hunkers down, flights scrapped, businesses shut, Hong Kong and parts of China grind to a halt, super typhoon hits Hong Kong, category 4 typhoon buffers Hong Kong. So sent my apologies back to work, asked Liz to do a bit more at home with the cows, and we've got to sit tight here until it's safe to travel.
Landfall in Hualien or Taitung and cut its way through Taiwan.
Once it reaches the Taiwan Strait, its effects could linger in some places until Wednesday.
So let me think, what else did we do? Right, yeah, so just before the typhoon, as part of the conference, we visited a research institute, the Taiwan Agricultural Research Institute, one of a number of research institutes, but this one particularly specialises in soil science and rice, and we went there and had a good look around with a very enthusiastic gentleman who showed us their soil science museum. So I think what we're doing now is we're off to see one of the soil sample museums from this at the institute. So we're going to go back indoors. I reckon outside here it's probably about 36 degrees, about 98% humidity, so it's like walking through a warm bath.
Transformation. You can see this part. Very similar rock and very similar soil particles. It is on the tropical lawn of Taiwan, like example of sea, of island.
We only have.
And then becomes softened, weathering, softened, and it divides into small particles. This is the weathering process. And
we conduct several times of the soil survey. So we keep the soil sample here, and maybe after many years we can recheck or to.
Yes, the director of the institute who's hosted us this morning, which is very kind of you. But you're a very busy man, aren't you? You have meetings with many, and you're planning for the typhoon as well this afternoon. So this professor is going to leave us now and do more important things, and we've got a tour of the institute. So
thank you very much for visiting us.
No, it's a total pleasure.
Our colleagues will join together with you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. So we're on the bus on a tour of the institute. So it's the Taiwan Agricultural Research Institute. Very, very, very hot. Yeah, no, help yourself. So
I've been here 38 years. Start from the first year.
See from the
Maybe 3-4 months.
yes.
Because it's so warm. Grow fast. March. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, exactly. So that's the irrigation water running off the mountains to irrigate the paddies. Yeah. And we visited a farmer's market, which was very upmarket actually, and I had my first ever sort of structured tasting of rice wines, rice spirits, and rice wine flavoured with lychee, which I think we call lychee over here, but they call it lychee. So that was great. And soon after that was when we got stuck.
对对对，这荔枝酒。So this is not rice wine. It is from lychee.
The
Wonderful.
lychee, yes.
Lychee.
Red.
I want to try that from lychee.
部长3位还是你也可以嘛，对不对？好，可以。还有几位可以。
There's always seems to be confusion over here about what it actually is we're eating and drinking.
It's lychee.
It's lychee.
Taiwan. Yeah. Imagine making wine is complicated.
Oh, that's. I mean, that's a wine, not a spirit. Yeah.
对，我们就是用我们这个米去酿造的。那日本他们是酒造好，所以清酒的话，它这个酿造酒它属于纯米吟酿。对对，这里有稍微。
Like dark farm.
Figures. There you go. Oh, look. There you go. Ah, there is a proper...
there is a way.
There is a way. Let's have a look.
I'm going to try it the proper way.
So like this?
She's actually...
Oh yeah! Gotcha! Gotcha!
Yeah. Here he comes, swimming by. So what did we do then? So yeah, we've got held up, and that meant making our way back up towards the mid-north of the island, back towards Taipei International Airport, so that we were ready to go, whoopsie, when the weather came good and when a new set of flights came through. So that meant I had a bit of a bucket list moment. I had my first trip on a bullet train. So hopefully there's a bit of footage coming up of that piece of adventure. Right, we've finished at Taichung. Yeah, it is. I said it's like the infrastructure is more like an airport, isn't it?
It looks
like an airport. Yeah. So yeah, we're finished in Taichung, me and Rotto. We're off back to Taipei.
Taipei, the biggest city.
Yeah, that's right. So it's impressive, isn't it? So the exciting thing is we're going to go on one of these fast trains. Yeah, a bullet train, which Rotto was telling me is part Japanese and part French. So yeah, let's hope they're both pulling in the same direction. This one. So first sight of a bullet. Follow the old colleagues and see where we get on. Look at the size of it. Well, fortunately that isn't the one we wanted. So I've got no doubt it'll be in on time. We'll hop on that one. Right, how do you know how fast you're going then? Is there no... So we're throttling up and we'll see if we get a sense of how fast we're going in a minute. So yeah, I guess it's not very exciting looking out of a train window on YouTube, but it's quite fun to be here. I wonder if you get a sense of the speed. Then after we got back to Taipei, we were invited to and visited Taipei National University just for a sort of a visitor's walk around the campus. No particular piece of work to do, just a friendly walk around. And it's an interesting campus. It's like, I suppose, like all enormous campuses, there's bits of it that are brand new and really flashy, and bits of it that have probably come around on the repair schedule, and we saw a bit of all of that. It was very calm and quiet because the students weren't really back from their summer vacations. They were just sort of starting to, you could see it filling up a bit by the day as kids were coming back, and teachers and all the hubbub of university life. Morning everybody, just walking down through the university campus with Mandy and Carmen. It's a magnificent place. Yeah, you can wave, yep.
Morning.
So we've got a big day today. We've got some natural phenomena to look at, but more importantly this afternoon we're planning a student workshop, which will be great fun, and we'll work out what we need to do there, and we'll go up to Mandy's offices. But in the meantime, on the campus a bit more, you'll see there's an initiative here, English as a medium of instruction. So, and some of the teachers here are training to speak English, so that English is more of a culturally and practically taken up by students. And Mandy, who we're with, is already a fluent English speaker. She did her PhD in English at Rothamsted, and just having a bit of a tour of Taipei National University. So this impressive coconut palm tree walk takes us down to the library. Oh, here comes a tropical rainstorm. Need to dive for some cover. So that sort of sums up the trip, really. We got back to Taipei, did some visiting. We enjoyed a lot of street food. Our hosts were wonderful. They helped us out completely when all the planes were cancelled, and yeah, we had an excellent time and a busy time and a good conference, but keeping it real back in the orchard now. So thanks ever so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the way I tried to cobble this video together, and see you next time. Thank you very much.